It's a Friday morning, November 14, 2025. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news app here at Adesawe Kanda. We're live on Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana, and on DSTV is channel 279. My name is Josh Quinn. Top of the stories are: Finance Minister Dr. Kesilato Forson presents Government 2026 budget statement to Parliament as he reveals Auditor General's audit into arrears has rejected 10.4 billion cedis in claims. Also, government allocates an amount of 150 million cedis to the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NAMOS, to deal with galamsey. Deputy Defense Minister leads government and military delegation to commiserate with families of persons who died during stampede at El Wak Stadium. Well, we have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes if you spend your time with me. You can also get interactive with us. We are live on Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana. And now, the Finance Minister has announced the abolition of the COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy, presenting Government 2026 budget statement and economic policy. Dr. Kesilato Forson also outlined a comprehensive overhaul of the nation's value-added tax VAT regime.
In fulfillment of our pledge to protect the public purse and ensure value for money, we commissioned the Auditor General, working directly with PwC and EY, to conduct an independent validation of these arrests and commitment. But Mr. Speaker, the findings are troubling and very damning. Out of the 68.8 billion payable submitted for audit, 47.8 billion cedis was validated. Mr. Speaker, an additional 8.6 billion Ghana cedis remains under review, pending further validation due to inadequate documentation, missing third-party confirmation, and lack of supporting document. These yet to be validated claims may be legitimate, but further evidence will be required before they can be recognized. But Right Honorable Speaker, about 10.4 billion Ghana cedis in claims were rejected. The Speaker, due to duplications, recycled IPCs, inflated invoices, falsified stores receipts advice, and instances of no work but demanding money. Out of the rejected amount, about 1 billion Ghana cedis, comprising BTAs, bank transfer advices, that had already been processed by the Ministry of Finance and were ready for payment by the Controlling Accountant General and Bank of Ghana, were rejected. The Speaker, without this audit, these claims would have been paid, underscoring the importance of vigilance and verification. Mr. Speaker, about 2 billion Ghana cedis was also reclassified from claims to BTS. Right Honorable Speaker, the report is ready and it will be submitted and the detail may be discussed by this House.
Finance Minister Dr. Kesilato Forson says Auditor General is finalizing its audit into government arrears inherited from the NPP government. Presenting the 2026 budget to Parliament, the Finance Minister noted that about 10.4 billion cedis in claims were rejected. He added that 47.8 billion cedis in arrears have been validated, with 1.8 billion cedis still under review pending validation.
Government is also protecting Ghana's forests, rivers, and mineral wealth. So, Speaker, key water bodies and forest reserves have been declared high security zones, with 1,000 officers deployed and real-time tracking of mining equipment by Minerals Commission has been instituted. We are working with traditional leaders and communities to reclaim degraded land and restore ecosystems. The Speaker, in 2026, government will partner with private sector to reclaim 10,000 hectares using fast-growing tree species. We have allocated 150 million Ghana cedis for the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, for the activities against illegal mining and forest degradation.
And now, Finance Minister Dr. Kingsley Forson has outlined major expenditure measures aimed at promoting efficiency, strengthening fiscal discipline, and supporting economic growth in the 2026 financial year. Presenting the 2026 budget statement on Thursday, November 13, Dr. Forson said government will continue to rationalize spending to create fiscal space for critical sectors such as roads, energy, and education. Take a listen.
Government is therefore submitting to this House a bold package of VAT reforms that will make our tax system more equitable, transparent, and business-friendly. Right, Honorable Speaker, the new VAT reforms will do the following. We will abolish the COVID-19 health recovery levy. Mr. Speaker, we will abolish the decoupling of Get Fund and National Health Insurance levies from the VAT tax base. Mr. Speaker, we will abolish VAT on recognizance and prospecting of minerals. Mr. Speaker, we will reduce the effective VAT rate from 21.9% to 20%. Mr. Speaker, we will raise the VAT registration threshold from 200,000 to 750,000 cedis. Mr. Speaker, we will extend VAT zero rating on the supply of local manufacturing textiles to 2028. Mr. Speaker, with the support of this House, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to say that I'm happy to announce that today, COVID-19 levy is accordingly abolished. Mr. Speaker, by abolishing the COVID-19 levy, government is putting 3.7 billion Ghana cedis in the pockets of individuals and businesses in 2026. Mr. Speaker, these reforms will also reduce the cost of doing business by 5%. As a result of subjecting Get Fund and NHIL levies to input-output deductibility for businesses. Altogether, the VAT reforms is expecting to give back nearly 6 billion Ghana cedis to businesses and households.
Still on the 2026 budget statement, government has allocated an amount of 115 million cedis to the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat. And the Finance Minister disclosed this during the presentation of the 2026 budget, whilst also announcing moves to reclaim degraded forest cover of the country. You're watching the morning news here on TV3 and
Forests,
you're live on TV.
Rivers and mineral wealth. So, Speaker, key water bodies and forest reserves have been declared high security zones, with 1,000 officers deployed and real-time tracking of mining equipment by Minerals Commission has been instituted. We are working with traditional leaders and communities to reclaim degraded land and restore ecosystems. The Speaker, in 2026, government will partner with private sector to reclaim 10,000 hectares using fast-growing tree species. We have allocated 150 million Ghana cedis for the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, for the activities against illegal mining and forest degradation.
The Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association's Anti-Galamsey Task Force has intensified operations to clamp down on the menace. Members of the association have targeted communities along the River Ofin in their latest operation.
Communities including Aniamwa and Ntombroso, all in the Chimampunya district, have become hotspots for illegal mining operations. The move is part of the association's commitment to supporting the national battle against illegal mining, particularly on river bodies. The once clear waters of the River Ofin has been heavily polluted as a result of years of illegal mining. The Anti-Galamsey Task Force of the National Concerned Small Scale Miners Association, equipped with speedboats, has been patrolling the area to track down miners operating along the river. During the latest operation, several illegal miners abandoned their campfire, floating dredging machines, which were later destroyed by the task force. President of the Concerned Small Scale Miners Association, Michael Kojo Pepra, revealed that more than 100 dredging machines were destroyed.
We were able to destroy over 100 of chamfine machines that is being used to dredge our various river bodies. In so doing, we can all see the ripple effect on the color of the river.
He added that local residents often assist the task force by providing information on the illegal miners' hideouts.
Communities are always complaining about the destruction of the various water bodies. So anytime that we go, sometimes they are the people who give us this information and they lead us to where these criminals are.
Local residents of Ntobroso, led by Michael Ewua, commended the efforts of the association.
If we were the ones to reward, we wouldn't know what to reward you with. You have done a great job and we appreciate what you have done. We deployed our efforts to get them off the river, but they didn't go.
The Concerned Small Scale Miners Association says it remains committed to supporting the government's effort to combat illegal mining and restore the country's rivers to their natural states.
Well, away from Galamsey, one of the victims of Wednesday morning stampede during the Greater Accra military recruitment screening at Elwak Stadium has been identified as Elvon Amwatin. Elvon was the only daughter and the first child of her parent. Our reporter, Joseph Armstrong Godalagbe, joined the Deputy Defense Minister as he visited families of the deceased.
The delegation's first stop was the 37 Military Hospital to check on those injured in the stampede. Hospital officials confirmed that several victims were still receiving treatment. However, TV3 discovered that some applicants who sustained injuries rushed home without seeking medical attention. A mother of one of the injured told TV3 her daughter returned home weak and covered in blood stains, only to later learn from the news that all injured persons were said to be receiving treatment at the hospital. The team then proceeded to the homes of the deceased.
Philippians 4 verses 6 and 7, that you should be anxious for nothing. But with prayers, I don't have any protocol you go through it for.
At Adenta, the family of 20-year-old Yvonne Amwatin was inconsolable. Yvonne was a level 300 student of Accra Technical University and the only daughter of her parents. The Deputy Defense Minister and his delegation offered words of comfort and assured the family of government support in these difficult times. The Gender Minister also assured the victims of government's full support.
The survivors are not alone. We are going to walk through this healing process with them and ensure that by way of social protection for the vulnerable, as they have become, they are not left alone. Their future doesn't die with what has happened with them.
The team later visited other bereaved families at Kbong, where the atmosphere was equally heavy with grief. The Deputy Defense Minister, Broja Jemfi, disclosed that the military leadership has begun investigation into the incident, adding that all personnel responsible for the Accra screening exercise have been asked to step aside pending the outcome.
All personnel responsible for the military recruitment screening have been asked to step aside while investigations take place. I assure you of government support at this difficult moment.
For many of the grieving families, their call is simple: that the state compensates all affected applicants and honor their memory. Joseph Armstrong, Gold Alubi, TV3, Accra.
The victims are not left alone, according to the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namuwolate. Let's know what you make of this very situation. We are active on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Hopefully, your comments will be read and shared to the rest of the world. In more news this morning, the New Job and South Municipal Chief Executive, Ransford Owusu-Boakye, has condemned a recent youth attack on the Eastern Regional Hospital and promised security measures to protect staff and patients. He gave the assurance when he visited the hospital's management following the incident and warned necessary sanctions will be taken against youth found culpable.
The New Job and South Municipal Chief Executive, Ransford Owusu-Boakye, led the Municipal Security Council to the Eastern Regional Hospital to meet the hospital management for situational report. The hospital management, led by Dr. Foster Mponsa, recounted the incident and appealed for maximum security protection for staff and patients.
Coming to work on patients and you thinking that you could be attacked at any time is something that is actually worrying. Thought that this incident was something that needed a strong condemnation. So we are very grateful that you have come again with the security.
In response, the MCE, Ransford Owusu-Boakye, gave assurances that MUSEC will take swift action to prevent future occurrences and ensure the safety of hospital workers.
We would want to assure them that we will protect them 24 hours. The sort of incident which happened last Friday will not occur again. Those who came here were not sent by any party person. The MCE and so the regional vice chairman. They came here on their own, and they are on their own. We have asked security, the police, to make sure they bring everybody who was part of this incident to book. If where they have to punish, they should punish, so that others will not come in and do same next time around.
The attack on the hospital was allegedly carried out by a youth group suspected to be from the governing NDC, who pasted notices to demand a change in the hospital's leadership.
Before we take leave of you, the Accra High Court has deferred the taking of the pleas of former National Petroleum Authority Chief Executive Officer Mustafa Abdul Hamid and 9 others to December 9, 2025. The Office of the Special Prosecutor amended the charges against the 10 accused persons from 24 to 54 counts, citing new evidence, Lord Edwasare reports.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor amended the charges against the 10 accused persons from 24 to 54 counts, citing new evidence. The amended charge sheet details 54 criminal counts against officials of the National Petroleum Authority and several associated companies for alleged large-scale extortion, abuse of public office, and money laundering amounting to 297 million Ghana cedis and $332,000. In court on Thursday, November 13, lawyers from the Office of the Special Prosecutor told the court that they were ready to withdraw the old charge sheet and replace it with the amended one in order for the pleas of the accused persons to be taken. However, they had been informed that the case had been assigned to a different court, the Criminal Court 4. The principal prosecutor then sought permission from the courts for an adjournment in order for the withdrawal to be done on the same day the case is to be heard at the newly assigned court. The High Court, presided over by Justice Beth Anieje, granted the prayer after lawyers of the accused persons did not oppose the application. The case has since been adjourned to December 9. Lord Idwasare, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, that's all time would allow us. And for more news updates, just log on to our website, it's 3news.com. Alternatively, join my colleagues Kebini Amano and Mao Negbeta at 12 on News Central. My name is Josh Quinn. For more news updates, let's do that. Good morning.
Is here with our song, and we are in Friday. If the Lord has been good to you, you want to join us sing and say that yes, indeed, the Lord has been good. Good morning to you, and you're welcome to New Day right here on TV3, the biggest you'd find in this part of the world. My name is Beatrice Edu, and of course, I've got the lawyer with me.
Yes, Joseph Akable right here. It's amazing to be back on another Friday, and I always love the choice of music. I mean,
Yes.
God has been so kind, God has been so gracious, He has been so merciful. You know, each day we take it for granted, the fact that we wake up and we come again. Yesterday, I was heading to work and I just saw an accident just around the Kaukudi place, and I kept thinking to myself how cruel things could be in this life. And this week, there is an incident that touched me so much, and I mean, I just, before I realized, I was just shedding tears.
Oh, wow. What happened?
The 6 individuals who died. I mean, so sad. It's so sad. And the reason why it makes me so sad is the fact that these are individuals who are seeking job opportunities.
Yes.
See, I mean, we can make it about wanting to serve the nation, but we know that if you talk to those who go over there, 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10, it's simply a search for job opportunity.
Yes, to take care of body,
Yes,
put body and soul together.
Yes, so you wake up in the morning, you tell your mom, you tell your dad that you are going for the screening because you want to join the army, because you want to get a job, and the next thing they hear is that there are deaths, they can't reach you, they can't find you, and they eventually receive news that you are part of those who have died. I mean,
this morning we saw a family member weeping so uncontrollably.
You can't put yourself in the mind of the families at this point in time. And when I saw the story, it just made me so sad. And I mean, we can't let this happen again as a country. It's very unfortunate.
And I really pray that whatever was discussed in Parliament after the incident, just hours after the incident, and all the other things that have been spoken of, would really bring a change such that we're able to ensure that processes are well coordinated and people are protected.
Absolutely.
But we're here a day after 2 major incidents, the finance minister presenting the budget and also the approval of the acting Chief Justice, Paul Bafuboni, and really amazing details given to us by the finance minister. I mean, aside from the COVID-19 levy, which has been scrapped, the other details which really show the attention to social issues, building of extra schools at various levels, senior high school, primary levels, junior high school as well. And just excited about it because still a number of schools are under trees. And a number of areas, especially those outside of the capital city, towns and villages, are struggling with infrastructure. So it's great. And so many things that really the finance minister talked about, the Accra-Kumasi highway, the traffic. If you've been on that stretch, you know that it's such a headache for a lot of people. So they're putting it on the, I mean, making it part of the big push. And the Agenda 111, how much money is being dedicated to complete 10 out of the 111. I mean, great stuff, really.
I mean, absolutely. And I agree with you, particularly on the infrastructure bit. But then comes the challenge that we all see playing out. I mean, from the analysis of how the nation performed in terms of the revenue side for the last 3 quarters, what the finance minister reports is that we couldn't meet our revenue targets. And obviously, as a result of that, we also cut down on our expenditure side, just to ensure that our books don't go off gear. But then it comes back to the question that we ought to ask that, well, COVID levy is gone. I mean, it's gone, and we know that the government would have to now fill that shortfall that would happen. Because it was a handle,
billion, right?
Yes,
Ghana
I mean, it was a
cedis
handle
into the
that
pockets of Ghanaians.
was bringing money. So if you decide that you let it go, then it becomes a challenge. And so the question to ask at this point is that what will the government be doing to ensure that they are able to meet the various commitments? And the big push is very important. Look, you made reference to the Accra-Kumasi Road, not just the Accra-Kumasi Road. The main roads that lead people out of Accra are all under construction. So let's pick, if you are here in Accra, you want to go to the Volta region. We know that the Tema, Dowenya, that side of town, there's a project ongoing in terms of the road projects there. If you want to go to the northern part of the country, the Kumasi area, we know that you've talked about the Kumasi one. Then if you want to go to the western part of the country as well, the Kaswa, Winneba, that road is also under construction.
Yeah.
So I have used all three parts in the last couple of months, and I was saying that how do we even get ourselves in a situation where three outlets, major outlets, with basically no other option unless you are going by air, all under construction. So it definitely means that we have to ensure that we have the funds available, make it promptly available to contractors on site, just to make sure that we finish them, because these are very crucial routes. And hopefully we'll get some answers when we understand the Deputy Minister for Roads will be joining us on the big issue.
Yeah, you're handling the big issue today.
Yes, so we can touch on some of these matters, because everywhere you go in this country, every part of the country, roads are bad.
Yeah.
Even here in Accra.
You know, there's something that gets me so ticked off when I'm driving and I don't know the road and I hit a pothole. I'm like, God, I just don't like that feeling of hitting it.
I have a general rule I operate by.
Okay.
If it's an unfamiliar road, I go very slow. If it's in the night, it's way slower. But in the evening, I mean, even when I'm coming at dawn, I mean, when I'm coming very early in the morning, I mean, around 5 a.m. there, but when I'm coming, the road I use, I'm so familiar with the road to the extent that I know when I have to be on the right lane.
Your mind automatically prompts you, actually, when you know the road.
You have to move to the left lane because there's a pothole up there. And that is a story that a lot of people are familiar with. So road is very, very important. I mean, energy too, you recall at the start of the year, there were some few challenges in the energy sector. Good news, we've had a bit of stability, not a bit, in fact, power has been stable for a number of months now. The finance minister announced that they've successfully renegotiated all the power purchase agreements with independent power producers. And we are also current in terms of our commitments. And so that is a very sharp departure from the trend we had last year, especially the latter part of last year, where the power producers were threatening to shut down the plants because several months of arrears were outstanding, where the government of the time had complained about the fact that the power purchasing agreements were too high, they had to be renegotiated. They tried to abolish some of them. It resulted in judgment debts. We know the GPGC judgment debts and all of that. And so that is also some good news that is coming in for a lot of Ghanaians. At least we all want to, using electricity.
And I'm really looking forward to the modernized tax system that the finance minister talked about, the details of that, because we've had a lot of challenges. You remember when COVID-19 levy was, the e-levy in particular, when it was brought, the critics said that it was a lazy way of raising money because we could widen our tax net, get a lot of people on it so that the few people who are paying taxes, at least they will be relieved in a way. So I'm looking forward to the details of that so that we know that it's been widened and it's a fair tax system, as it were. But speaking about roads, I'm really hoping that we'll be able to also deal with street lights. Do you know the Abri Highway doesn't have street lights?
No. I used it I think 2 months ago.
And that's a very narrow, you need to be extremely careful when you're navigating your way through that meandering road and there are no street lights. And a lot of people driving with high lights on. So if your light is not good, you're going to be blinded. And I've had that experience a few times. And I do hope that these street lights issues would also be dealt with. Really looking forward.
Absolutely. I mean, he also touched on the free SHS, saying that they've improved the allocation to the program as well. He also talked about the fact that they expect the currency stability that has been attained to continue. And that is also a very crucial point that will be put into some of our economists and experts who will be joining us in the discussion segment, especially because a lot of people have made the argument that the time they can see the real value of the city is towards the last quarter, around this period, towards Christmas, where people are importing a lot because of Christmas. And so you have a lot of Forex leaving the country. And so the question to be asked is that, do we see the signs that the stability will continue within this period and into next year as well? So we'll have the conversation about the city as well. And so it's a lot to chew on.
It's a lot,
on the morning show this morning. We'll be giving some money out as well?
Yes, we'll be giving money, 1,000 Ghana cedis to, actually 10,000 to 10 individuals. So don't forget, you dial *439#. Always follow the prompt, pick your favorite platform, which is right here, number 2, TV3, and you get the chance of getting 1,000 cedis. You know, last week was a jackpot.
Yes.
We gave 20,000 cedis to 3 people, 5,000 to 2, and then 1,000 to...
Well, one of the numbers, when I did the first draw, one of the numbers, it looked like my number.
You are looking forward to that, Are you sure you played? How many times did you play?
I played enough. You see, we've settled this already. I mean, Roland is
he says 40 times.
Yes.
Did you play 40 times?
No, I didn't. Do 40.
Exactly. Yes.
But it's the reason why this morning we have to do at least 40. So just dial *439#. Follow the prompt. Pick number 2 like Beatrice indicated and participate. The target is 40. Maybe that. You see, that's why it was close to my number. The first 4 or 5 digits were close. Then the rest. It was someone's number. I'm sure the person is watching and he's laughing at me.
Yes.
It's fine. I'm forgiving you. But I'm doing 40 times, so we'll all be fine this morning.
But today is also a special show as well, because we've told you that the Current Cup is exclusive right here on your favorite station, TV3, and we're going to be giving you pre-match updates. We've got a whole panel for you, and Ore Kwampofu will be joining us, I think, from 9:30 to have that pre-live game show. So you want to join us, and shortly after that, later in the day as well, of course, latter part of the morning, the forum continues. What we've started, we'll be talking about AI in health and Ghana's readiness. So yes, there's a whole lot for you right here on TV3.
Absolutely, and the Current Cup you doing, and it's the Black Stars that is playing.
Yes.
Yeah, the Black Stars.
Yes.
Those of you who don't know, the Black Stars is in action. We'll begin at this morning segment, and obviously we'd have to pick some calls and talk about the budget issue. But I mean, I have to compliment how you're looking. You're looking amazing.
Thank you very much.
Like you do on a red carpet. Who are you wearing?
I'm wearing Bellberry.
Okay.
Bellberry is located adjacent to the Gold Filling Station in Chado, and you can find her on social media. She's got really great stuff, mixing African with European style. I mean, just get to the shop and you really get a lot of beautiful stuff.
All right.
So thank you very much, Bellberry, for my look this morning.
That's the message. If you want to look as stunning as Beatrice this morning, Bellberry Chado. Yeah, go there and grab some. We can just do it this morning now. Pick some calls and talk about the budget. What do you make of the budget as presented by the finance minister? Call into the show and share your thoughts with us. Were your expectations met? Are there other demands that you want to make of the finance minister and government for that matter?
And welcome to This Morning segment on New Day on TV3. Yes, so we're talking about what the finance minister presented to us last evening. What you think about it? So many things that the minister said, Dr. Kasiela, to force in education, health, power sector. And so, yes, the numbers are showing on your screen. Give us a call and share with us what you make of what was presented to us. But I think we do have our first caller on the line. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. He's actually joining us from the Upper West region. Tell us your name. Which part of the Upper West region are you calling us from?
Good morning. My name is Sani from Wa.
Oh, Sani from Wa. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you to Beatrice. You look at the game this morning. And
Thank
good
you.
morning. I have powers to say Asma.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So when we say Asma, we say it's so Asma.
Easy,
How do I respond to that? I should say nah. Okay, thank you very much. Yes. Please.
Okay, so in contributing to yesterday's budget, I think our finance minister did well. I think they should come more on jobs. It's not easy for the youth. We hope and believe that the policy that we are about to implement, it will get to the youth. But a little bit disappointed with the minority. They are presenting budget with policies that are important, that are good to this country. And they are mostly told that they were created in the budget. We can't be doing this as a country. It's not everything that you should be opposing. At least the finance minister mentioned good policies like constructing roads, and others. And you could see that they were disappointed and singing songs that show that they are patriotic. Meanwhile, if you go back to their records, you see that there's nothing to write home about. So please, I'm begging that we Ghanaians should not be too partisan. When they present something, you know it's good because it's not from their party, you think that it's bad. It will not help us as a nation. I will end by greeting my MP, Honorable Dr. Rashid Pepo, and then Madeleine Kalou, District MP. We pray that John Mama will see the importance of Madeleine Kalou by giving him a ministerial position. Thank you very much, and Asma once again.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sani, for calling us from the Upper West region. Let's go to our second caller. Good morning to you, sir. Tell us your name, where you're calling us from. Good morning.
This Sani from Wale.
Okay. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Okay. I just want to greet you people in the studio, and then to greet my good people in Wale too. I'm greeting everybody. And then having said that, I think I'm very, very happy this morning. In fact, I am the most happiest person in this country after listening to the finance minister yesterday. In fact, he touched every facet of the economy. And then before he even did that, he let us know where we came from. You see, sometimes if you don't know where you come from, you don't appreciate where we are. You don't appreciate the kind of goodies that you are enjoying. Because at a point in time in this country, inflation was hovering around 64%. So as we speak today, inflation is now 8%. Okay. So, and then apart from that, you can also see the dollar. It was also around 17, 18. But today, it's now what? 10 cedis, 90 pesos or so. So I think that is very good. When you appreciate these things, then you understand where you are. Correctly. So I want to thank you for making sure that, and then let Ghanaians know that economic management is not about bragging. Do you understand? It's not about slogan, one this, one that. No, it's not about that. It's about deliverance. It's about performance. And then this finance minister has demonstrated that for everybody to understand that we now have good managers of the economy. And I believe that with the kind of estimates that he's talking about, okay, the targets that they are talking about in next year's budget, if they are able to meet them, in fact, we are even going to enjoy them more. And I was very particularly happy about the Farmer Service Center because I am in the northern part of the country where we are engaged in farming. And then sometimes we find it difficult to get tractor services, okay, how to get inputs and all that. And then, there are no tractors here in the northern part of the country. So the few people who have tractors always charge very exorbitant prices, what we call stress, okay, when they're doing farming. So if this kind of intervention is implemented, I think it is going to give we the farmers in the northern part the opportunity to engage in large-scale farming so that we'll be able to get abundant food to feed the nation and to even export. Do you understand? Because people are saying that food prices are cheap and all that. Yes, next year it will even be cheaper if these things are implemented. I'm also very happy about the kind of interventions in the education sector. I am a teacher. So you go to the rural areas, especially my district, there are villages without schools. There are villages without infrastructure. There are villages without chairs and all that. So if you're going to build primary schools, 200 of them, JHS, 400 of them, I believe we are all going to intend. So let us pray for the finance minister to succeed. And then once he came there yesterday without wearing white shirt, I believe that he was going to give us the best. You know, it is not about quoting Bibles. In Africa, if somebody wants to cheat you, he either start by quoting the Bible or the Quran. And that is what the former finance minister used to do. But this finance minister, I think he's very exceptional. So we thank you very much. And we thank President Mahamadou for managing the economy well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sani, for calling us from Wale and sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you so much for speaking to us. And Joe, he's just really kind of agreeing with the conversation we're having earlier, really. about the building of schools, the infrastructure and stuff. And I'm happy that he is excited about it. Because the thing is, when you haven't seen it in the rural areas, you may not really appreciate what people there are going through, especially children who are supposed to have the same equal access as spelled out in our constitution.
And I mean, the politicians will tell you that, well, they all want the numbers to do good because that is how come we're able to get good deals with our development partners. But what they would always want to also be able to achieve is tangible development. And the tangible developments are mostly in the infrastructure that we see. And there's a general infrastructure deficit in all parts of the country. I mean, we know Agenda 111, lots of hospitals were commenced, some of them various stages of completion, some even yet to take off. There were also hospital projects that were abandoned. The minister made reference to some in the Ashanti region. And so all those are things that when people see you fixing, they know that you are addressing their needs. And that is how come it's important and it's of concern to people, because they want you to undertake those projects so that they know that the government is working for their good.
And I was really particularly excited about the Agenda 111 because we've had a culture in this country where one party starts or a government starts some projects and the next government comes and just decides to abandon those projects. So the fact that this was started by the previous administration, I mean, you had the then former president, who is now the president, John Mahama, saying a number of projects. Actually, that was after he was sworn in. A number of these 111 hospitals were started, but those monies, if they had been concentrated properly, they could have still built some without, spreading them across like that. So
absolutely.
And the free senior high school. So really, let's just continue this culture that projects are started and we don't let them go waste, but whichever government comes to power really attends to them and completes them. But I think we have another caller on the line with us. Redeemer, actually, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us where you're calling us from, what you think of what is on the table.
Okay.
Hi, Redeemer, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. My concern is on the sports allocation. Talking about that, I think the money allocated for the sports, it should be something like a promise. The government should have promised them that when they go to the World Cup and win the trophy back, this and that will be given to them. But for something just to be given to them directly like that, I think they will go and then flop again. So that's my concern.
Okay, thank you very much, Redeemer, for calling us and expressing your thoughts regarding our sport and how much money has been dedicated. Thank you so much. We have another caller on the line. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us where you're calling us from and what you think of what we're discussing today.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, today, calling you from Upper West region. Wow.
Hi, Idris. How is Wa this morning?
Oh, I hope Wa is very nice as you people are.
Yes.
Let me say good morning to Asabile and I say congratulations for the award that he took. But I didn't bring it to the studio for us to do.
No, Joseph Akable, not yet. Yes. Yes. You mean Godwin Asidiba and Sarah Pinkro? Yes, Godwin is out of the country, but thank you so much. Yes, he got the GJ Journalist of the Year, and Sarah also got for Best Feature TV. Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, let me say good morning to the great people in the Upper West region. While I am you're doing G24. And also good morning to the Institute Regional Chairman Bill Aziz White. Yesterday about the budget hearing, I will say that I'm very happy about the budget hearing. But because as I'm speaking to you, I'm a member of the NCP party and a member of the NCP Regional Communications Team. I was happy with the bill. But just speaking now, my problem is that all the time you'll be hearing nice words that you won't see the action. Except, let me tell you, you see the work road. It has been in budget for 20 years as I'm speaking now. 20 good years. You can come from 2000 to 2028, then 2025 that we are in. Every finance minister comes to mention the war tomorrow. Every president will come to go there and capture. But we will not see the result. You understand? But we hope these people, once they say, we will see the action. Let me tell you, these are not, we are always relying on speech, they are not in action. Can you beg the NDC people that they are in power? Please. Once they are speech, let them see the action. But where I was also not happy again was that I was expecting the finance minister to tell us that they have also received money from people. That they say that they are stealing money, led by the aura. We were expecting the finance minister to say we have received or we are still done from this amount from stolen people's pockets. But we didn't hear that. I did tell him that the oral is not doing anything. So we want them to explain this to them. But what we want us to know is that the president promised that good people in Africa that they are going to construct about 320 kilometers road. We are all Ghanaians. Africa is the food basket of this country, whether they like it or not. Once they are bringing in taxes, they should give the African farmers some of the taxes so that we can produce less food for this country. We again give 24 land. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Idris, for calling us from Wa in the Upper West region. There's another caller joining us. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on this morning segment on New Day. Tell us your name, where you're calling us from.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel, calling from Sampa, Jamai North.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, after listening to the finance minister yesterday when he read the budget, I'll first say congratulating to the president, Muhammad, because I think yesterday they tackled the rare issue, the thing that's really affecting Ghanaians and the way they want to handle it. And I think he made serious business this time. We have to put politics aside. I never liked NDC, but 2024 I voted for them for change. And at least he has shown some sign that he really means business. Because there's a saying that it's only a foolish man who does not learn. But at least he went into opposition, he came back and he has learned and has decided to do something better for the country. Tackling the agricultural sector is perfect. Bringing a factory processing company to Sampa and to the Brown region is a perfect idea. Because if you look at the cattle sector, let's see the amount of income that comes out of the cashew. From even Sampa alone, Germany alone. It's a huge amount of money. So if we have a processing factory, that our raw materials will not be going astray outside. Every time our raw materials have been going exporting to a different country. Tackling that aspect is the best idea. And two, the agenda 111 that he mentioned, he never brought any new projects, but he tackled the old project that the previous administration never completed. It means that he has Ghana in heart this month. And we should put politics aside. If we're Ghanaian, let's think about the things that will benefit this nation. Let's reason as Ghanaians. Let's appreciate a leader who will do something that will benefit the young generation that will come. Let's see the palm name that he said he wants to do. If he's able to do that, it's a plus for Ghana. Let's look at Malaysia. Malaysia does not have anything special, but they are able to at least use the palm that they have to generate income, to build their nation. We always go to Malaysia, we say Malaysia is beautiful. It's all because of palm oil. They learn it from here. You see, we have left our farmers astray. We have made farming a poor thing. If you don't have money, that's when you go to farming. But believe, if you even read the Bible, all the wealthy people were farmers. And a nation that grows from farming. Because if you are not importing from other countries, if you are not importing raw materials from other countries, and you are able to generate that raw materials from the country, it means that you are a serious nation.
Indeed.
And yesterday, he tackled all aspects of the problem that is facing in the nation, that he wants to do something. Even if he does not do all, and he's able to do part of it, it's a plus for him. And I think NDC, this time, we are real Ghanaians. And we are begging the minority. They should learn. And that's why a man is not the end of his life. They learn. That NDC learn, and they are bringing new policies, new change to the people of Ghana, the youth of Ghana, which it is.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling us from the Bono region and for sharing those thoughts with us. A very happy man, you can tell in his voice, and I mean, what he makes of what was presented to us by the finance minister yesterday. But there's a world-class university right here in Ghana, Rosebank International University, a strong South African university and a branch of the ADV Tech Group, Africa's largest private education provider with 146 schools across 5 African countries and over 100,000 learners, and partly owned by the World Bank through the IFC. Rosebank International University is fully accredited by the South African Qualifications Authority, the British Accreditation Council, GTEC in Ghana, City Guilds in UK, and Capsicum Culinary Studio. At Rosebank International University, we offer a Doctor of Business Administration, MBA, Master of Science, and Master of Philosophy in Digital Marketing, Bachelor of Supply Chain Management, targeting professionals in freight forwarding, customs, etc. We offer hospitality and culinary arts, available at diploma, undergraduate and postgraduate levels. Our ICT has BSc Information Technology in Business, Systems and IT Computer Application Development, all carefully designed to equip you with the skills and qualifications needed for a successful global career. Remember, our mission is simple: inspiring excellence. Admissions are now open for January 2026. You can visit our modern campus at Airport Commercial or Pebia House, Accra, or apply online at www.riuc.edu.gh. Rosebank International University, building global citizens.
Let's do some comments now. Some of you have been sending in your comments mainly on our various social media handles. This one here from Kotoka Courage. You say that, I said it already, that the NDC are nation builders while the NPP are nation wreckers. All Ghanaians can see the difference between the two political parties. However, I would like to appeal to the government leadership that although inflation has gone down, the prices of food commodities in the market remain the same, and some are even still rising. We are pleading with them to do something about it. That is Kotoka Courage in Anloga Lashibi in the Volta region. And like you'd always hear the economists tell you, that they'll just say that it means that the rate at which the price of commodities are going up is on a decline, and that is how come inflation is dropping. Another message here from, do you have your name? Yes, Kofi Kwatin from Amanin. Kofi Kwatin Amanin Kokru. You say that Ato did not wear white apparel, quote the Bible or Quran, and did not use Yale English to confuse ordinary man. From this budget, we can clearly say we have turned the corner. Okay. A number of you sending that kind of message as well. Landlord Borga D-Line, you send this. You say that kudos to the finance minister and his workaholic economic team. I didn't have the opportunity to experience Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's government, but per the readings of literature, I can boldly say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is the new Osajifo of our generation. He has taken Ghana from economic hardship to economic independence. And you add, please, my message. So yes, I've read your message. Don't worry. Another one here from Ralph Akuse. You say that, good morning, the budget is reassuring. It tells you that there were lots of plundering by the previous government. What I missed in the presentation yesterday was the eloquent voice of Kenneth Furiata and the white dress. Okay, Ralph there. Kwablavi Pokwase Benghazi, you say that we have all seen that the economy and money, buying and selling of goods is doing well under the watch of the Finance Minister, Honorable Kasiel Atuforsen, and President John Dramani Mahama. So we are expecting some good thing from the 2025 budget. We want the budget to reduce the cost of fuel, import duties, taxes, rent, fees this year. The budget must save money to create jobs for unemployment. So that is some messages that have come through our various platforms so far. Interesting comments.
Yes, there's one coming from Hughes, a very short one, Isaac Hughes. He says, you see, I was so happy hearing the Finance Minister mention that within 2 years, the double track will end and that there will be some expansion works done in the education sector. That's good news. One regards to lawyer Joseph, a.k.a. Blay. Yeah, so thank you very much for sending in your messages and for calling. But I think we still have one more caller joining us. Hello, good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on this morning's segment on New Day. Tell us your thoughts.
I'm Captain calling from Martin.
Hi, Gabi. Good morning.
Finance Minister was on top of his issues. And we hope that at least what he has said should not be like other failed promises we have heard before. Make sure all they have said it has been implemented. And the question is, as I'm speaking to you, I am only saying this and I think this every day. But the question is, now that we have come and there are trouble of jobs to Ghanaian youth, are we coming to the people we have started them with anything we're supposed to at least take care before we sack them from their duty? We refuse to do that. And are we coming to employ them or we are going to leave them behind? Well, they are also part of Ghana's identity as well. Me, to you, I am a driver. I work with Commercial Small Arms. I was employed 2022 as MPP. Though it's growing, but I never go there because the opportunity that has come. I was sacked 23 years. What is the problem? How am I going to get that job back? I'm NPC. I am a Ghanaian. I have been trained in NPC. Fine, finance has done well. Let's say that it works well. But I am hoping to tell you this, that whoever that argues over this fact I'm talking about to contact me and I'll tell the person what's happening. I'm a driver. So now I'm prepared to go to farm. It's fine. But what of my kids I'm taking care of? They're going to school. What's happening to them now? But let's hope and pray that they should be the meeting as they said. We can all need to in Ghana. And we are sorry for what has happened previously for the loss of the human issues.
Yeah.
Let's pray that God to forgive them and other things. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling us and sharing those views with us. Blade, do you have any more messages?
No messages for now. But so far, interesting comments that have been sent on the various platforms from our viewers. Special good morning to Lawyer Gershon in Tree. Lawyer Gershon in Tree. I've received your message and your threats that you've added to it as well. That if I don't read it, I'll see you in court. Okay. Good morning to Gershon in Tree, a regular viewer of this particular show, a lawyer as well. And yes, another one here. You say that the budget was very good. You liked it, and you are happy that the finance minister has announced measures, particularly in the education and energy sector, to deal with the state of affairs. This is coming from Kofi Ama in the Western region now.
Let's go to Master Planner Engineer. He joins us on the phone. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us this morning as well.
Fantastic. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Yes. How are you doing yourself?
I'm doing good too. Alhamdulillah. Let me use this opportunity to greet the former president, Nana Akufo-Addo, former vice president, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, and then plead with MPP delegates on the 31st January 2026 and get to the ballots. Please vote number 3 if you really want MPP to come back to power in 2029, inshallah. And then Chris Nana Lloyd, Deputy National Organizer, and he will also be coming for MPP National Youth Organizer and all MPP members. Let me comment Honorable Akufo-Addo. Yesterday, I think his delivery was on point. He really did well on his delivery. Few things I'm looking at is the Bolga Airport he mentioned about, and then the 3 or 4 aircrafts that the government is going to purchase. I think it's a good move. And then I learned they also buy about 100 fire tenders. It's very, very crucial. If they are able to do this, I think it will really help the nation. You know, I'm a strong MPP member, but these 3 items I saw in the budget, I think if they're able to deliver on that mandate, I think it will help the nation. Aside that, the Agenda 111, although they say they will be taxing 10 of them, I think 10 is not all that enough. We hope that in the subsequent budget, maybe 2027 budget, they should increase it to maybe 30 or 20. Because if I'm going to do 10, at the end of 3 years or 4 years, it means I'm going to do only 30 or 40 out of 111. So they should up their game and then increase the numbers in the subsequent budget so that the previous government projects will also be attached. And then they can also attach their projects so that Ghana will move forward. But certainly, regardless of all this, we the MPPs, not their project, because in terms of developmental project, President Nanado is on March 2028 election. No matter what project they are going to do, they can't match President Nanado. So we certainly come back to power with Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In regards to Roland.
Roland, yes, he'll hear that. Thank you very much, Master Planner Engineer, for calling us and for sharing those thoughts with us. Well, hunger can strike any time, but Royal King Cracker is always on standby when you need something enjoyable to munch on. Royal King Cracker brings the crunch and the battery taste. It fits right into your day, morning, noon, or night. Royal King Cracker, take chalk your hunger. Just grab one and enjoy. This advert is FDA approved. And you're still here on New Day, just to stay with us. And, well, before that, though, step into a night of elegance, music, and fine dining at the Mervynpick Classical Music Night, happening on the 27th of November at the Mervynpick Ambassador Ballroom. Come enjoy an enchanting evening of live performances by Guy Bertrand and Kokui Salome Savor, and exquisite 4-course dinner with perfect wine pairings, and capture magical moment with our photo experiences. It's more than an evening, it's a symphony of taste, sound, and style crafted for those who cherish the finer things in life. Hurry now at Sita Limited. Don't miss your chance to be part of an evening where every note hits the heart and every flavor delights the palate. Remember, is 1,800. Reserve your seat today by calling +233 20433 3136 or +233 302 611 000. Mervynpick Classical Music Night, where music meets elegance and moments turn into memories. Let's pick this caller who joins us live on the phone. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Your name, where you're calling us from?
Live on the phone. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Your name, where you're calling us from?
Hello, please, if you can, please turn off the volume on your TV set because we can't hear you. Good morning to you. Okay, I think the person will have to adjust the set and then we can have a conversation. So please turn off your TV, or you can just reduce the volume on the set and call in so we can hear you and hear your contribution as well. Yeah,
very interesting discussion so far on the budget and the matters arising. I like one of the callers, the one who said he doesn't particularly like the NDC's MPP, but he sees some positives and he thought he needs to commend the government for doing that. I mean, that's the spirit of nation building that we all want to see always. We have another caller on the line. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning.
Hi, your name and where you're calling from?
I think the line is bad.
Yes, unfortunately, I think we've lost. Do call in once again and share your views with us on the budget and all the issues that have come up so far. We touched on a lot of other things, the aircrafts being purchased and everything. All those are matters that we'll be discussing. You can still send your comments to us on our various social media handles, and we'll still read them to you during the discussion segment that is coming up shortly. We'll take a quick break. I'll be back. She will go and rest a little, then she'll come back and continue. We'll be right back.
turn this around. Mr. Speaker, through decisive leadership, board reform
VAT, then
began to turn the tide. Mr. Speaker, the result speaks for itself. In less than a year, we have recorded a strong economic growth, falling inflation, a strong and stable cedi, improved external buffers, restored fiscal discipline, deepened fiscal reforms, strong and independent fiscal oversight, lower borrowing costs, significant debt reduction, restored investor confidence, expanded social protection, better debt management strategy, and massive infrastructure development. Right, Honorable Speaker, this progress is the fruit of sacrifice and discipline. Ghanaians tightened their belt, businesses adapted, and government stayed the course. Barely a year ago, our economy was uncertain. Today, the cedi in your pocket is stronger. Prices are reducing, and new opportunities are emerging across agriculture, industry, and technology. Mr. Speaker, to our international partners and investors, the government is therefore submitting to this House a bold package of VAT reforms that will make our tax system more equitable, transparent, and business-friendly. Right, Honorable Speaker, the new VAT reforms will do the following. We will abolish the COVID-19 health recovery levy. Mr. Speaker, we will abolish the decoupling of Get Fund and National Health Insurance levies from the VAT tax base. Mr. Speaker, we will abolish VAT on recognizance and prospecting of minerals. Mr. Speaker, we will reduce the effective VAT rate from 21.9% to 20%. Mr. Speaker, we will raise the VAT registration threshold from 200,000 to 750,000 cedis. Mr. Speaker, we will extend VAT zero rating on the supply of local manufacturing textiles to 2028. Mr. Speaker, with the support of this House, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to say that I'm happy to announce that today, COVID-19 levy is accordingly abolished. Mr. Speaker, by abolishing the COVID-19 levy, government is putting 3.7 billion Ghana cedis in the pockets of the individuals and businesses in 2026. Mr. Speaker, these reforms will also reduce the cost of doing business by 5% as a result of subjecting Get Fund and NHIL levies to input-output deductibility for businesses. Altogether, the VAT reforms is expecting to give back nearly 6 billion Ghana cedis to businesses and households. Ghana's economy has regained its rhythm. Real GDP expanded by 6.3% in the first half of 2025, up from 5.1% in the same period of 2024, driven by stronger agriculture and service, lower inflation, and renewed business confidence. Agriculture, the backbone of stability, grew by 6%, doubling that of last year. Mr. Speaker, cocoa rebound from a sharp 21.4%, contracting to 2.8% growth. Mr. Speaker, thanks to the targeted farm support, and smarter policies.
That's the Finance Minister, Dr. Cassiel Atuforsen, delivering a budget statement yesterday. A lot of you had to listen while heading home from your various destinations because it did not start as 2 p.m. as had been advertised. We all know what played out in Parliament. Let me introduce you to my guest in the studio, high-powered team. We'll talk about roads in between here and there because we have the Deputy Minister in charge of roads and highways, Alhassan Suhini Saibu, in the studio. Very good to finally meet you.
Pleasure is mine, and it's good to also see you face to face for the first time.
I used to listen to you way back on Radio Gold. Yes, I never met you, but finally meeting you again.
I'm happy to hear that. It makes me feel old, though.
yes, that was way back. I must say that was way back.
You're doing great.
Thank you very much.
I watch you. Mostly.
Thank you very much. Also in the studio with us is Ebo Bachman. Ebo Bachman is Deputy Communications Director for the United Party. He's also a financial and economic analyst as well. Ebo, thank you for joining us as always.
It's always a pleasure, my brother.
He supports a small team in the central region.
You see, Abontia, Ebusia Dwarfs. It's not a small team.
They said they are dwarfs. They said they are dwarfs. Also in the studio, Professor Enoch Opokwentwi, Prof, with a large constituency in Koforidua and in Virginia, Wisconsin, and all those areas in the United States. Prof, good to see you as always.
It's always great to be here. My brother, I think the second time we are meeting. The first time we were at GBC together, and
when I was in opposition.
Yes. And now you are in power.
You've known me since. Yes.
It's been a long journey. But I want to say that yesterday when I watched painfully how Cameroon were eliminated in the round-robin football, and Nigeria are almost there with Congo DR, and I saw Europe, what was going on. But I want to say something to the youth. I think that based on what happened to the military recruitment, we need to stand up for the youth. Unemployment is a big ticking time bomb in this country. We should find jobs for our people. With oil, gold, every resource that we have, I don't know why we shouldn't have all the factories and manufacturing to provide jobs for our people. But I also have an advice for the youth that your biggest asset in this country is this, your cell phone. Make sure that you network very well with people, because Ghana here is who knows you. Looking for a job. I have over 250 individuals who have sent their CVs to me looking for jobs. So jobs is a big issue here. We should do whatever we can to provide jobs for them. But the youth also using your phone, make sure that you don't call these individuals, politicians and the business people just because you need help. Sometimes call to check on them and then to see how they are doing. It helps to link up with them before one day you ask them for that help that you are looking for.
A colleague was telling me a story about an uncle who was in government, and the uncle had told him to send his CV. So he had not sent it, and he met the uncle, and the uncle said that, oh, Charlie, CV now send him, I forward it. The CV had not sent it. The man said he had forwarded it, so he didn't bother to send it at all. Yes, but job is a big deal, and I mean, early on when we're doing the calling segment, I was complaining about the unfortunate incident that happened at 37. I mean, very, very sad. It really messed up my week. I mean, I felt so sad because, I mean, about 11 years ago, my brother and a couple of others, they had gone for that particular screening. They were not picked eventually, but I mean, I could easily have imagined how it could just have been them. I mean, they did nothing wrong. They just showed up and wanted to participate. And it's good, the responses from government. We've heard from the Defense Ministry. We are being told that those who are handling this particular exercise are not the ones who are going to handle it anymore. They've also suspended it for now. An investigation will take place so that just make sure that the subsequent ones that will take place, the screening will be in an orderly manner. We don't have this happening again.
Did you see the military alone, 60,000 applicants?
Yes.
And out of 60,000, 50% were qualified. So 30,000 were qualified, but they were looking for only 4,000.
That's a big problem.
It's a big shame.
It is.
On the part of the light-hearted conversation about politicians, I think that we are not telling our stories enough. Maybe many of us, especially those who are on retirement now, should begin to write and talk more about how to survive being a politician in public life in this country. Because the danger is that when you are still in active service and you are even honest about what you go through, it can have negative consequences on you. So I think that many of us have to begin to tell our stories more. But on the jobless situation in this country, which many have attributed to the numbers that we saw at the Elwak Stadium leading to the Stampede, we perhaps have to continue to engage in very frank conversations about productivity, about employment, and the expectations of people who seek labor in this country, vis-a-vis the kind of graduates that we also churn out. Because you see, I have a very unpopular view I'm not afraid to express it. When it comes to our mindset as a people, perhaps it has been developed over years of, if you like, indoctrination. I mean, the perception was that, or has always been that, go to school, work hard in school, pass all your exams, so that when you come out, you can get a good job to enjoy life. So you are conscientized from that point to think that work is in school and enjoyment is in after school when you have a job. And so what do we see? When vacancies are applied, you have even people who are unemployed looking for better jobs every day. The mindset is not about how to work hard to improve. I'm talking about productivity. To improve where they are so that conditions of service there can improve. The thing is looking for the better job. And so when you advertise for, when you advertise vacancies, it is not surprising to see people leave their jobs with all kinds of excuses so that they can attend interviews, because they are looking for that better job. And so people are leaving VRA and going to Senate and going to Bank of Ghana, because it's not about productivity. It's always about that mindset of, we are leaving school. So when you don't find a better job, what do you notice happens? We go to get better degrees so that we can get promotion. So I think that we need to have more conversations about it. And that is not to say that there is no unemployment in this country. It is real. So many people are really unemployed. Others are underemployed. But too many people are employed but do not even appreciate the reason why they are employed and the need for them to contribute to productivity, to make the institutions that they are employed in better so that they can enjoy better conditions of service, and perhaps make it possible for the institution to grow and expand and bring in more people and even live long enough to take care of their children. So these are conversations I think that we need to continue to have. And I am grateful and excited about some of the vision that you see expressed in the 2026 budget that was presented by the finance minister on behalf of His Excellency the President. Clearly, there is a vision to change the narrative in this country. And if we all plug in and understand where His Excellency the President is taking this country to, I'm sure that after these 4 years, like he keeps saying, he would have set this country on a path of progress and growth.
We'll get into some of the specifics shortly, but also joining us on Zoom this morning, Dr. Edu Owusu Sarkodie is an economist at the University of Ghana. Doc, good morning.
Hi, good morning to everybody. Fortunately, I support Asante Kotoko. So
we beat Hartlepool last weekend. We beat Hartlepool by a goal to nil. They are not happy, but we are fine. And Doc, maybe let me start with you on the budget conversation. Let's zoom right in. And I mean, is it fair? The finance minister basically says the theme this year is resetting for growth, jobs, and economic transformation. Now, what he did was to tell us the current state of the economy. I want us to deal with the conversation in different parts. The first part is on the assessment of the state of the economy. He says that we have turned the corner. It's not the first time we are hearing that from a finance minister, but the numbers that he makes reference to, we know of inflation in the regions of 23, thereabout last year. We are now around 8%. He also talks about the value of the Ghanaian currency, which was a major challenge in times past. Is it a fair assessment to say that Ghana's economy today is better than it was last year in November? That is one. And number two, do you agree with his assessment that the current state is largely as a result of the fiscal discipline that is being supervised by the current administration?
Okay, thank you, and good morning to everybody and our viewers. Yes, obviously, if you look at most of the figures that we use to assess the health of an economy, they are currently better than what they met in 2024, ending December ending 2024, or maybe one would say March 2025, because that's where they brought their first budget. But let's put the discussion into proper context without missing the point. Our economy was in difficulties in the year 2022, and we're running out of reserves. Inflation was very high, 54%, etc. We all know the story. We had to turn to the IMF program. And a prior action to the IMF program was a debt exchange, beginning with the domestic, and then before they turned their attention to the external. So major credit must be given to the bondholders who endured painful haircuts. That paved the way for the IMF program. And the IMF program, too, the money wasn't given to us at the same time, it was given to us in tranches. And therefore, you would expect the full impact of the program in the subsequent years, not in the year 2023 where we went for the program. So it is not out of place to say that things are getting far better than we experienced in 2024. But the 2024 figures, most of them, I would say most of them, were also far better than the 2022 figures. So in other words, things started improving when we did the debt exchange, and then when we started the IMF program, things started improving. And I have heard the IMF team quite a number of times saying that the economy is recovering. The economy is recovering. So the figures as at the end of 2024 were far better than when we went to the IMF program, I think in May 2023. But now most of the figures are also far better than, of course, what they inherited in maybe 2024 ending or March 2025 when they brought their first budget. So many, I always tell my students that this administration has been very lucky. A number of things have been happening positively. We haven't seen any major external shock. Domestically, the rainfall in the year 2025 is better than the 2024. We have seen that the external environment is also favorable to us, cocoa price, gold price, and these are major export commodities. So these developments, both the domestic development and the external development, are all working together for our good. That is why we are seeing the improvement in our economy, and then the current state is far better than the previous one. We are also seeing like I said, the full benefits of the IMF program because the money was given to us in tranches. The fiscal discipline, I'll also commend both the previous administration and the current one for staying the course. Because if you are under an IMF program, I think the first thing you will see, I mean, the first two are building reserves and secondly, fiscal consolidation. So you have seen the commitment from both the previous administration and the current administration. I am happy that they are staying the course. You know, the budget deficit had always been, the target has always been less than 5%. So to achieve 2%, 2.8%, 2.2% is quite remarkable. To achieve positive primary balance, by the way, this is not the first time we are achieving positive primary balance, but that is also quite good for us as a country. I'm also seeing a good relationship between the monetary policy and the fiscal policy, so that the fiscals will not misbehave for the monetary policy to come and bail them out. So I'm seeing that, and it's quite good. There are also other challenges, I'm sure we'll talk about them. So getting to your next question, is it as a result of fiscal discipline? I think I would link your second question to the first one in my initial submission. The fiscal discipline, like I said, in the IMF program, fiscal consolidation plus building reserves are the major key areas, plus other things like, bringing down inflation, controlling the exchange rate, etc. So the fiscal discipline was started by the previous administration under the IMF program. It has been continued by this current administration, and we must commend the two administrations for staying the course of the IMF program. In addition to the fiscals, I've mentioned other factors like the domestic factors like rainfall. We have mentioned the domestic external factors like the gold price, cocoa price. We have also, together as a country, we have built reserves. I think currently our dollar reserves are about 12 billion. In the year 2022, before we went to the IMF, I think it was less than 2 billion or so. Today we have 12 billion reserves. Gold reserves are also mounting from 8 tons to now I hear 38 tons. By the way, I always get opportunity to say that Ghana should be behaving like its peers, like Mexico and Kazakhstan, and build more than 100 tons of reserves, because we produce similar. Than the last year, we produced 130 tons, similar. The three countries, Ghana, Mexico, and Kazakhstan, we produce 130 tons. So if they have reserves of 125 and we have 38, we should be putting in more efforts to build more reserves. And when we do that, I think the new wave of economics coming up is what we call metanomics, how to back, how to use your minerals to develop your country, starting from how to back your currency with gold. And Ghana has gold in abundance, #1 in the whole Africa and #6 in the whole world. I think we have done well as a country and we should be doing more. I'm particularly happy about the gold purchase program, the gold for oil, the gold bond, everything the government is doing is really helping us. So to conclude, the current state of the economy is better, but things started improving when first the bondholders accepted the painful haircut to pave way for the IMF program. And the IMF program also came with building reserves and fiscal consolidation. And that's the results we are seeing. Because the money was given to us in tranches, I had always maintained the point that we will reap the full benefits of the program, getting to the tail end of the program. And we are getting to the tail end of the program. It's expected to end the year 2026, May. Of course, NDC MPP are politicians, so they want to claim credit. So nobody will fault them, because if things were bad, people will say, I'm buying it. So if now things are good, they want to claim credit. But as I have given you the analysis, I would say the major credit should go to the bondholders who endured painful haircut. That paved way for IMF program, within which we are seeing all these benefits. That is not to take everything away from the current administration. They have also stayed committed to the IMF program. We want to see, after May, when the IMF program exits or ends, that is where we want to see the quote-unquote, the character, forgive me for that word, the character or the performance of the current administration going forward after the IMF program. And I believe that as a country, we have all it takes to stay the course of fiscal consolidation, having a good monetary policy, because I'm sure that the entire IMF indicators were all generated by Ghanaians. I mean, they have been meeting the technical staff of the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana. It's not beyond us as a country to achieve this, even after the IMF program has ended. So we have to commend ourselves and continue. I'm also happy with the social intervention programs that the government is also improving. They came to meet and they are improving, which is good, to cushion the poor and the vulnerable amongst us. So far, so good. We hope for the better.
Okay. I'll come back to you shortly, Doc. Let me come to Ebo in the studio. And Ebo, you agree with the analysis that Doc does, and if you follow the analysis closely, he basically more or less makes the point that maybe we would have to wait after we are out of the IMF program. He attributes the success generally to a number of different things, but agrees with the point about the fiscal discipline being a key pillar. You share the same conclusions?
Yeah, you see, I've always said that cars were made to move forward. But then the manufacturers of the car also know that sometimes the car would have to go back and position itself well so that it can move forward properly. So sometimes it's important to go back and see why some of the things had to happen to us in terms of our economic management. You know, I've said it on record that MPP left us with Koshoko economy that was characterized by excessive borrowing for consumption and corruption, and also wasteful expenditure. If you look at some of the expenditures we had in the last 4 years, the popular one is the one that we always make reference to, is the big hole at Ridge, which cost us a whooping $97 million. I mean, think about it. What $97 million can do to an economy that was in shambles at the time that the expenditure was made. So it's not just about taking us to the IMF. I don't think any government that mismanages the economy and takes us to the IMF should be given any credit. Because it is because of your mismanagement, that's why we go to the IMF in the first place. So you don't have to take any credit for taking us to the IMF. And I agree with him, the bondholders who suffer, some had to die. We shouldn't have gotten to that stage anyway, because, I mean, given what is happening now, given the kind of management going on now, the same thing could have been done in the last 8 years. Because we are not borrowing excessively. We are not wasting our resources, investing in needless areas. Can you imagine spending almost, and this I'm quoting what Dr. Bawumia himself said, that close to 4 billion was expended on NAPCO. Why would you do that? When that money could have been used you could have used that money to invest in the productive sector of the economy to generate permanent jobs for the youth. So we had a lot of wasteful expenditure in the past 8 years under the previous administration. So yes, to the extent that the bondholders had to suffer to save the economy, I agree with Doc on that. But for me, the most important thing I think we need to look at is the fact that the government has been able to stabilize the economy. You know, we pursue macroeconomic stability through the demand side, management, using fiscal and monetary policies to regulate aggregate demand and if you like, to mop up liquidity from the system. I think the government has succeeded in doing that. That is why we are experiencing the kind of stability we have in the macro environment. But the most important question is, what next? And that is what we were given in yesterday's budget. And for me, very significant, because there has to be seamless transition to the supply side also, for growth, for economic expansion, for job creation, because following what happened, or the unfortunate incident we witnessed at LWAC, I think the focus of the budget should be employment, job creation. And that is what I see in this budget. Because if you look at, they've mentioned 24-hour economy in the budget. They've mentioned agriculture, pumping more money into agriculture sector, which is very important. And fortunately for us, we also have agriculture minister who seems to understand the nuances and nitty-gritties of agriculture. And so if we succeed in, if you like, implementing this budget and making sure that, yes, the expenditure to the agriculture sector is really, given to expand activities in the sector, I think it will go a long way to help increase production, to generate more employment and other things for the economy. Then also the issue of industrialization. The finance minister also touched on the issue of trade and industry, and that they were going to link the two, agriculture and industry, to ensure that there's feed the industry program, which is also quite significant. I would say that, yes, this budget, you see, when you are given a Koshoko economy, you need to have a balanced diet to change the Koshoko to healthy economy. And so this year budget and the next year budget, I see them as a balanced diet budget, because they seem to solve the Koshoko problems we had in terms of macroeconomic environment, suffocation. I mean, look at what happened to the private sector. And even, everything was in the bad state. So, yes, moving forward, let's send our money to productive sectors. Budget is intentions, what you want to do. But as to whether you will do what you have stated you will do is another thing altogether. But at least we know that from this year budgets and what has gone on and the kind of results we have had, if we follow through with next year's budget, I believe that with the 24-hour economy, if we're able to implement it, if we're able to invest in agriculture, in industry, in energy, which is also quite significant, because the minister mentioned that they're going to focus on energy, because, of course, you can't have industrialization without energy sector. And so I see hope. You see, considering where we've come from, you see that there has been a very significant improvement. But given our potential and where we can be, we still have a long way to go. Okay. So I would say kudos to the team. Anytime I listen to the governor, Dr. Siama, and I listen to Ato, I think I seem to get hope that these people, they understand and they know what they are doing. They are very intentional about what they are doing. And so that is why when I hear MP people, for example, saying that, why are you intervening with the forex market? I laugh because, yeah, the kind of system you're operating, forex, if you're operating forex flow management system, you don't allow only demand and supply to determine the price of exchange rate. You intervene as and when it becomes necessary. That's what the government is doing. So I do understand Kojo Opon Nkrumah and those people, the kind of argument they are making, that the government, so should the government sit aloof for the city to depreciate to the point where it depreciated during their time, so that the economy will be thrown into a state of despair? I don't think so. So yes, let's support, I believe that let's support this government. When I say let's support, people say, oh, but you are with United Party. Why are you saying we support? You see, the reason why we should support any government that is in power is that if you consider the kind of pain people went through in the past 8 years under Akufo-Addo, DDEP, number of people who died, you should never wish that any government should fail. Because if the government fails, the effect, the repercussions is there.
I mean, they'll tell you that if the government does very well, the NDC will continue another 8 years.
If NDC does well, what it means is that if you want to compete them out, you have to come with superior alternative, and that is why we
for the country.
That's why we are not afraid, because we believe that what Mr. Nchamanten represents is superior, and so that is why we wish this government.
Let me come to Prof now, and Prof, do you get a sense generally that there is a lot to be excited about from what we heard yesterday?
Yes, I was excited yesterday, but before I delve into that, let me say happy birthday in advance to Kwame Gentua.
Oh.
Yes, I forget this one.
Yes. Because Sunday is going to be Kwame's birthday, and we love him. So, Kwame, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
He's in the northern region, I think Upper West also, working, and that's why he couldn't join us. We wish him happy birthday.
The producers
are... also wish, because I don't want trouble. I don't want trouble.
I'm the one who be in the biggest trouble if I don't.
He said you were baby cancer.
But all right. We need to know your age anyway.
So, a nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizen, but the lowest ones as well. That's what Nelson Mandela said. And this budget really takes care of the little things for the people. I was told by a guy from Virginia that I know very well that the finance minister could have just gone to Parliament and said that the fundamentals are strong now, the exchange rate has not exposed us, and done. He can leave the place because the finance team has done a very good job. E-levy gone, bed tax gone. Now COVID tax, which was a very nuisance tax, is also gone. So one thing that is left is that we need smarter revenue-raising strategies to balance our cost. Because I'll talk about the cost and the debt that we have hanging on our neck and the way we can fix that. So the fundamentals are very strong now, and I think that you can never have the pace without the base. That has been our bane since independence. And Nkrumah had all the lofty ideas. He had the pace, but he didn't have the base of the people he could work with. So this budget really gives us the hope that now that we have the base, the foundation strong, let's begin next year with the pace that we are looking for. And I'm talking about building a lot of factories everywhere, building hospitals, building schools, building bridges, building parks, national parks, all these things that we need next year. If we look at what Plato also said, that a society that mocks virtue prepares its own collapse. And what is the virtue in this budget that we saw? I saw courage, I saw compassion, I saw that there's financial prudence, discipline in this budget. For example, ECG revenue raised by 90%. That gives me hope. ECG was making 9 million cedis every month, now raised to 1.7 billion, which is really hopeful. We also have a very strong, stable, and hopeful economy, which is the dream of many people. I've been told this morning that most people feel that they don't feel the impact in their pocket. So I think the government should do more so that people will feel the impact, in their pocket, which is very important to me. Now the president also ordered that maize, rice, chicken, eggs should be produced in Ghana, which is a great thing. I am even moving to the fruits and the vegetables that we have. A lot of maize, a lot of rice, a lot of these vegetables are getting rotten. Mangoes, oranges, let's buy them for the schools so that they can eat and have the balanced diet. Because unless we begin to, buy what we produce, we will always have a problem. Then the cedi appreciation, remember 16.35, now 10.92. From November 2024 to November 2025, we've been able to save appreciate the cedi by 35%, which is a good thing. Now I'm going to talk about the debt. Our debt was 726.7 billion. That was 61.8% of the GDP. Now, in 2024, has been reduced to 630.2 billion. That is 45% of the GDP. So within 1 year, the government has been able to save us on the GDP 17%. That is awesome within 1 year. And I'm talking about the base before we have the pace. So the foundation is being built. Without a foundation, all the ideas will never work because you need a strong foundation to build that house on. Then I've seen a lot of allocation, 150 million NIMOS, which is good because we are fighting galamsey and we need money. This morning I learned that even Black Stars have been giving 150 million to prepare for the World Cup, which is also a very good thing because we need them to go higher during the World Cup. We also have what we call the Integrated Oil Palm Development Policy, which are like 100,000 acres of cultivating land for palm oil. We need them, and that I'm told is going to produce about 250,000 jobs because jobs is everything to me. If we can provide a lot of jobs, manufacturing, software, anytime we can produce any kind of job for our people, I am all for it. Then we talk about the 43.2 billion allocated for education in 2026. I'm told from last year one to this one is just 2%, but that is okay. We need to do more on education. So the budget of education, 43.2 billion, is great. Inflation, we are in the single digits. That's an awesome thing. But like I said, it should reflect in our pockets for everybody to fill that one. Then 292 million allocated for sanitary parts. That sanitary part issue, I'm thinking that we can have a factory that produces the sanitary parts instead of always allocating money to that. I'm going to end this way. The economic figures look good. From inflation to the COVID levy cutoff to the import cover and the currency. But we should also make sure that we resolve ourselves from the IMF. I will be the happiest person in Ghana if we don't go to IMF again to take money. Because my brother who spoke earlier was talking about, come May next year, we will have to go to IMF again and then do the reviews and see whether we need money. With all the goods that we have now, with the oil money, with the lithium that is coming, we don't need to go to IMF again. We're tired of IMF. They've not helped us. So we should win ourselves from the IMF. Then we also have to have fiscal discipline. If we are having a revenue of 268 billion, but an expenditure of over 300 billion, it means there is that kind of gap. So what do we do to increase the revenue stream so that we can offset the expenditure that we are having? And then we also have to invest in production sectors. Production sectors, I'm talking about what we eat, what we wear, and what we consume. We need to invest a lot in that area.
Let me come to Honorable across me now. And I mean, there are those who compare the figures we are looking at, the state of the economy, to the 2016, 2017, 2018 period. And the argument they make is that they recall the very first November budget that the NPP government read. The numbers were also looking very good. And they had made a point that, well, we are just about finishing an IMF program. And so the argument being advanced is that it may be a bit too early to be excited about the gains, but once the IMF gets off our back, because every 2-3 months they come down for a review, and so we are not able to do the things that we normally do. Do you share that assessment?
No, Kable, it's important that we pay attention to nuances in our conversations. I hear many of the NPP communicators make this argument, which was an argument that was true in the past, but wrong today. And I'll tell you why. Because you need to look at the nuances and put the conversation in a context. When the NDC was exiting power in 2016, the EIU and other economic pundits had predicted that due to the hard work and investment, especially in the energy sector, and I'll come back to that, Ghana's economy in 2017 was going to grow by about 8 to 9% GDP. That was a prediction in 2016, and that Ghana's economy in 2017 was going to grow by about 8 to 9% GDP. Now, the NPP took over and maintained some of the things that the NDC was doing at the time. And so they were able to make about 8% GDP growth. But soon after that, the slippages started. And so the GDP started coming down in 2018. The borrowing was getting excessive by 2019. And clearly, even before COVID hit in 2020, the economy had become very vulnerable. So if today you compare 2016 to 2017 to 2024 to 2025, tell me which pundit in 2024 predicted that our economy was in good shape. And so if the NDC comes and are posting positive figures, it's because it inherited a good economy. Clearly, the pundits actually predicted that it was going to take longer than it is taking currently to come out of the mess. It should clearly tell you that there's a better management at play. I mean, you can slice it and dice it however you want, but the two scenarios are not the same. They may be similar, but they are not the same. Look, I hear the talk about, the external factors are favorable. Gold prices have gone up. Cocoa prices have gone up. We are not just talking about the impact we are speaking on the economy today. Is not just about price. It's also about volumes. And something is usually done to increase the volume of gold, for example, that goes out. The transformation and reforms that you are seeing in the gold sector is what is contributing to, earnings from the gold exports. Yes, the price is good, but the volumes have also come about as a result of the reforms that we have put in place. Same as cocoa. And, I heard Prof. earlier talk about rainfall patterns and all of that. Look, it is true that in 2024, the rainfall patterns were not favorable. But in 2023, they were. And in fact, they were better than we are having in 2025. And so it is not just about rainfall patterns. It's about prudent economic management. It is similar to the argument that is being made that, the Bank of Ghana, the government is intervening in the forex market, and that is why the cedi is stable. How much didn't we hear, the Bank of Ghana dumped in the previous era? Why didn't it bring the cedi to the point that we have it today, despite all the interventions that the Bank of Ghana used to do in the past? So it is not just a basic or simple, process of, dumping cedis or dollars into the market. It takes much more, and it's about discipline, it's about physical discipline, and it's about coordination between the monetary policy and then the fiscal policies. And that coordination is what is giving us the results that we are getting today. Look, if you, and I said it earlier, if you understand where President Mahama is coming from, and maybe before I go there, let me address the question of the benefits in our packet. Let's not underestimate it. People are feeling it. Maybe they don't have these platforms, but I'll give you very simple examples. If you had a mortgage and you were paying $1,000 a month, 1,000 Ghana dollars a month.
Quoted in cedis.
Yeah, if you are paying, I'm saying because the cedi is so good.
If the dollar was, the mortgage was denominated in dollar.
Because many mortgages in Ghana were dollar denominated until now. That many of them are now changing it to cedis. So if you were paying $1,000 a month, you would have required 16,000 Ghana cedis. Not so. Today, that same $1,000 mortgage, you will pay about 11,000. That's 5,000 Ghana cedis in your pocket. Cool 5,000 Ghana cedis in your pocket. I remember buying a bag of rice about 2 years ago during Ramadan. As a member of parliament, you support institutions like the mosques and other notable institutions. I bought a bag of rice above 600 Ghana cedis. Today, it's below 400 Ghana cedis. So if I go to the market to buy, if I'm buying a bag of rice, I'll have about 200 or 150 Ghana cedis in my pocket. If I'm buying more bags, you can imagine how much I will have excess money in my pocket. The finance minister, before he came to parliament to present the budget, actually visited some markets, interacted with traders, and you heard the traders. This was not staged. They were in the market, standing by their wares, telling you how much, you know, some of the goods had reduced. A loan car of rice and all the items that, you know, they were selling. They pointed to us how much they used to sell it in the past, how much it is selling today. And yes, they also talked about some of the problems that they still expect the finance minister and the government to address. So as for money in our pocket, feeling the impact of this good, you know, economy in our pocket, it is something that many people are feeling. And I'm talking about the vision of His Excellency, the President. You see?
There are those who make the point that, I mean, structurally, not much is changing. And they make reference to our revenue numbers, especially our revenue numbers.
Right.
And if you pick the last 4 or 5 budgets of this country, you always see that there's a revenue shortfall. There's a revenue shortfall. In fact, the finance minister said that the revenue and grants for the first 3 quarters of 2025 amounted to 154.9 billion, equivalent to 11.1% of GDP, although this outrun was 4.7% below the target. Then you go over and compare to what he does with the expenditure. You also see that as a result of that, if you pick capital expenditure, for instance, there was a 59.0% shortfall. So there are those who say that it just boils down to the fact that we are not being innovative, we are not getting money, we are just running the same old budget. The difference this time around, perhaps, is our decision to hold our hands and say that we don't have money, we are not going to spend as much as we have to.
Well, that is not the decision we have made. The decision we have made is that we are spending in productive areas. We are spending in areas that will spur growth. We are not saying we are not going to spend as much as we should. That tendency of spending as much as we should is what led us to DDEP. And again, you can, yes, give credit to the, bond holders who agreed, but then you should blame those who led us to that point. Clearly, our decision now is that District Assembly common funds that used to be in arrears should no longer be in arrears. Why? Because development at the local level is championed by the district assemblies. And some of the things that our rural communities need to spur growth are sometimes very minute. Maybe they just want a road reshaped so that farm produce can move smoothly to impact food inflation. So that road reshaping can be done by the district assembly if it has money to just buy fuel in a grader. But usually they don't. So you find a finance minister who prioritizes that expenditure. You find a finance minister who prioritizes national health insurance and says that, look, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. And so people should not have problems accessing health when they fall sick. So today, the National Health Insurance is up to date with its releases and paying claims. You have a finance minister who prioritizes Get Fund releases, because the government appreciates that we need to develop our human resource capital, starting especially at the basic level. So it is not like it is not spending, but it is spending in productive areas, in areas that will spur growth. And you see, His Excellency President Mahama is doing something that many haven't perhaps noticed yet. In his first administration, he prioritized the energy sector. He prioritized the health sector. He prioritized the education sector. And those sectors saw massive infrastructure growth. He moved our generation capacity in terms of power to an unprecedented level. Education infrastructure, he is credited, with the most, especially at the senior high level, the E-blocks and other, infrastructure that he championed. One of the best that we have had in this country, investing in infrastructure at the, basic and senior high school level. Then health. His idea of making Ghana a health tourist destination by championing health facilities across the country and regions, making sure that every region gets a health facility. So he championed education, health, and energy. And you cannot, the record there is unprecedented.
Okay.
Now, he hasn't abandoned that. He hasn't abandoned that. That is why you have the talk of the construction of a Ghana gas processing plant 2. Yeah. Remember, we talked about how the first gas processing plant was a game changer, and indeed it has become a game changer. He wants to do a second one. He hasn't abandoned education. That's why he's thinking of doing about 200 basic schools, and more infrastructure in the educational sector, like moving 40 category C schools to B, and upgrading the B ones to C. He hasn't abandoned that. He also hasn't abandoned health. For example, regions without hospitals in this budget are projected to get those hospitals. And the abandoned hospitals are also going to be completed. But what he is doing interestingly now is that he has prioritized the road sector and he has prioritized agri sector.
Okay.
So you are looking at the Eastern Corridor Road, you are looking at the Western Corridor Road, you are looking at the Upper Corridor Road, and then he is also, introducing a unique central corridor, which is going to be, an expressway from Accra to Kumasi. Okay. Can you imagine how that will open up this country for just not internal trade and business, but even for external traders like our neighboring countries? How it is going to impact the economy, and that is the structural transformation that you spoke about. This will lead to that structural transformation that we've all been yearning for.
I'll come back to you on the road so that you walk us through what the plan is just before we wrap up, because of the importance of that sector. Let me come back to Doc on Zoom now, and Doc, the same question again on whether we are seeing the structural change. He makes the arguments about the fact that the change now is prioritizing of the projects, but I mean, when you still look at the numbers closely, how revenue handles are clearly not doing well. In fact, the finance minister early on in the year had even talked about tax refunds, keeping it low under 5% as an option of ensuring that we make more money. I was comparing the numbers. We've already gone beyond the target he set for himself. I mean, that should be of concern in terms of our ability to undertake developments next year, especially when we exit the fund program.
Just allow me. You see, the VAT is changing. You notice that the finance minister has talked about how to change VAT and to use AI, reforms, especially even in. So that is the area of the revenue. They have to address the revenue.
No problem. Also. Yes, Doc. Doc, go ahead.
Yeah. What was the question again?
The question was about whether you see a significant structural reform. Yes.
Okay. I think structural reforms take time. We have seen a good step made towards reforming revenue mobilization, because I think as a country we should see borrowing as a supplement to revenue mobilization, not revenue mobilization as a supplement to borrowing. And so if we have this clearly on our mind, and then we can borrow for even recurrent expenditure, and then we can raise revenue for recurrent expenditure, and then if there's the need to borrow, we can borrow for capital investment. That one is clearly there. But I'm just looking at some of the figures here. Now, we've done I have the figures up to July, which is 7 months out of 12. That's about 58%, if all things being equal. But if you go through all the revenue components, I think they are all doing 50%, 50%, 50%, which is around, revenue on tax of goods and services are doing 58%, which is on track. If you go to the expenditure side, almost all of them are on track in terms of percentage of spending. But if you go to the capex, the capital expenditure is doing 30%. So instead of 58% having been allocated or spent, we are spending 30%. So what it means is that maybe the government is just being careful with the capital expenditure for this year, because you can see only 10 billion which has been spent against 14 or so. So going forward, we have to improve on the capital expenditure. But I also understand why the government is being careful with that, because first, you are under an IMF program, and second, you don't want to just wake up, boom, and start spending, so that not to put the whole progress that you have made so far into disarray. So I understand the gradual process that they have adopted. So on the revenue side, yes, there's a gradual move to domestic revenue mobilization. And we have no choice, because currently, since January 2022, we have not been able to go to the international capital market. So the government is doing more of domestic borrowing. And even the treasury bill rate has also dropped. So even the cost of borrowing domestically is not so much on the government. And I like the gradual approach of staying within your means, making sure that you spend what you have, you don't spend what you don't have in that regard. But we can do more as a country so that we can, because I am always a student of expenditure, revenue mobilization, so that you can spend what you have mobilized without overburdening yourself with borrowing. The other structural reforms that we have seen so far, which is also good, is the whole idea of the financial sector. We have seen the financial sector, even the credit to the private sector was on a decline, but now we are seeing a movement. The last time I checked from the budget, we have seen 95.5% of total credit going to the private sector and only 0.5% coming to the public sector. So what it means is that most of the credit are going to the private sector, and that ties into what we may discuss later about job creation, because about 12 to 13 million Ghanaian workers and less than 2 million are employed by the government. The remaining over 10 or 11 million are employed by the private sector. So we expect the private sector to expand. And with all these gains that we have made as a country with regards to inflation, exchange rate, it will really help the private sector to expand. The other structural change that people expect to see is to totally change from, I think my colleagues in the studio have already alluded to, is to change from this Gadgetsburg economy into a more self-reliant economy, cutting down imports. There are a number of items that we import that we can really substitute with local production. I am also happy the way we are linking local production to consumption by the students. You cannot be doing school feeding program and giving food to the borders, and all the food will be imported. So I'm happy that with that linkage where local production feeds into the school feeding we have. So a number of things must be done. Okay. I don't think we can use few years to actually transform the structure of our economy. We have to start as a country, and I think we have started in the previous years, 2013, 2009. We've seen some reforms going on, but we are not there yet as a country. Okay. Because if you take a look at the imported items, I mean, there are so many things that we can easily produce them. And then you talk about the export of primary commodities that we have to change from. At last, I read that Ghana is setting up a gold processing plant, which is good, remarkable. So we should be setting up such plants. Okay. If you have a factory that processes gold into refined materials, in that factory you employ an accountant, you employ a cleaner, you employ a driver. So all these things will come out. So we want to see very drastic transformation that will create the necessary jobs. I don't know if I have to talk about the jobs.
Yes, just before you touch on the jobs, because I want you to link something to the job issue for me. The growth sectors, if you specifically look at the growth numbers, we see the information and communication sector leading in terms of the sector that is recording the most growth, doing 17.2%. Let's compare to the lower ones. You are having industry doing 3.2%, not very good at all. Then you also have agric, in terms of the ones that are low, also doing 6.0%. Do you get a sense that the growth is taking place in the sectors that promise the most jobs, if I can put it that way, then you tie it into the point you wanted to make about the job creation.
Okay, so there's something we call the employment elasticity of GDP. In simple terms, if you grow your GDP by 1%, how many jobs can it create? And we have some areas that have high job creation, like agriculture, manufacturing, and then today the digital space. I think many of the young people, and my friend in the studio was talking about how the young people can take advantage of their smartphones to create jobs or to get opportunities. And so these areas must be targeted, agri manufacturing, and then the ICT, where we have most of our young men really in the area, so that we can get a jobs for them. Because I know if you take your phone, there are so many things that you can do. And so, yes, I am seeing growth in those areas, but what is lacking behind is the manufacturing sector. I think that we have to make efforts as a country to establish more factories. And as I alluded in the past, that if you have a typical factory, within the factory, you have an accountant, a cleaner, a manager, a technician, a driver, and all that. So if we can be able to set up all these industrial zones that have been promised in the budget, that would be very good. It takes me back to the point. I think it's similar to what Honorable Suhini. Honorable Suhini, good morning to you. I promise to visit you in the office. I'll come. By the way, my road is very bad, New Legon. So you have to help us. That was just by the way.
Well, the story of my life these days. That's what I hear everywhere I go.
Yeah, everywhere you go, road is bad. Yeah. But I also am happy that this year is a year of roads, as so to speak, that you are committing a number of billions of cedis for road construction, so we may get our share. Now, the issue of job employment, unemployment is an issue, underemployment is an issue. Underemployment is when you are underutilized, okay? In advanced economies, they calculate it by, even when you're working by less than 35 hours a week. But in our sector, which is dominated by informal sector, we use underutilization of capacity. And then a vulnerable employment, if somebody is working all right, but is unable to even make life savings, doesn't make enough to feed himself and the family, and the person is prone to shock. So these are the issues that we have to address as a country. But again, I agree with Honorable Suhin about the psychology of everybody looking for white-collar jobs instead of being an artisan. And we had a discussion with some friends, and they are complaining of how, I'm not saying foreigners, we should sack foreigners, but they are complaining about how foreigners are dominating in many aspects of our economy, where foreigners see opportunities, and then we don't see those opportunities. You go to Aboso Okai, foreigners are coming in here and there. You go to the farms. He said I have a friend I will mention, he said he went to Volta region and he saw that most of the farms were being operated by Voltarians who had migrated, and Beninoans who had migrated to the Volta region. You go to the northern part of the country, you see so many of these people from Burkina and Mali having migrated, and they are doing some of these things that maybe a typical Ghanaian will not want to do. If you talk to any landlord or house owner, they will tell you that the carpentry work, the POP work, the painting work, graffiato, or they prefer to employ people from Togo and Benin and Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, than employing Ghanaians. I don't know whether it's the Ghanaians who are not interested anymore in this artisanal work, or the landlords are rather leaving the Ghanaians and employing the foreigners. So it shouldn't always be about
cheaper labor options.
Hello?
I mean, the labor, the cost of the labor is cheaper. I mean, we've done some projects, and these artisans, the foreigners, they come and within days they are done. They take less money.
Yeah. They said that something that a Ghanaian worker can take like 2 weeks, if you employ the Togolese, they will do it in 3 days. And they charge lower. So, because all of us cannot go into the army, and you said in your introduction, only 4,000 can be employed. Out of 60,000, and 30,000 are qualified. So 4,000 out of 30,000, not everybody can be a lecturer or be in the studio as a journalist or be a fire service worker. I mean, some of us can really do well. I have some uncles in Kumasi who have shops in Kumasi magazine, and they are very rich, more richer than those of us doing white-collar jobs. But I mean, so the conversation of job creation shouldn't be limited to what the government can do in terms of direct job creation, it should not be limited to white-collar jobs. I think we should broaden the conversation and embrace what the private sector can also do, given the favorable macro environment, and the fact that it shouldn't be a white-collar job. It should be the skills, the very skills that we will need. And I am afraid to see that the way we are moving, and I read in the budget that we are going to rebase next year because of the introduction of the digital economy. So we have all this digital economy in Ghana growing. And if our youth, our people are not skilled to flow with the growth that we are seeing, I'm afraid they will be left out. So I want to, implore all Ghanaians that we should keep pace with the modernization and with the development and develop our skills. It shouldn't be about classroom or office work. It can be carpentry, it can be masonry, it can be painting, and anything which you can fetch. Because I know carpenters are paid like 10,000, 15,000. POP workers are paid like 10,000, 15,000. It's not small money. Somebody may be working in the ministry and be receiving a salary of, say, 5,000, 4,000 cedis. But somebody will do a carpentry work and receiving 10,000. So we should find, joy in doing some of these things like manufacturing, agriculture, artisanal work, etc., so that at the end of the day, we all can have something to fill in our pocket as we all want.
Okay. Let me come back to Honorable in the studio, and I want us to talk about, roads, and he was making reference to his area. My area, the Kwabenya, Ashoman, Atomic Hills. The roads are terrible. The roads are terrible. I told you. You have to when you are moving, you have to dodge. It's like we are driving, and you know that at some point you have to go on the right, at some point you have to go on the left.
The motorcycles are also
moving in between. The big push has been announced, but a lot of that will depend on our ability to find money. What is the plan specifically? Talk to Ghanaians. What is the plan for the road sector?
Well, clearly it is President Mohammed's biggest infrastructure project. It was in the manifesto, and it was Christian Big Push, and he's living the promise. He has already cut short for some of the construction to begin. He was in the Volta region a couple of weeks ago. He started from Greater Accra. Only last week, we were in the Savannah region. And then this week, we went to the Upper West region. Now, I ended my earlier submission on the note of the corridors and how he's seeking to open up these corridors, which will enable us better utilize the town roads that we have and those that we intend to work on in the coming years. Clearly, this is funded by ABFA. So if you recall, in the last budget, Parliament was called upon to pass a law that enabled the finance minister to reserve the oil revenue for the big push projects. And so there is dedicated funding for these projects that His Excellency the President speaks of, and has already gone ahead to cut short for some of them. That is why the finance minister yesterday in the presentation of the budget statement reiterated the point that shoddy works will not be tolerated, delay will not be countenanced, because there is available, funds to make prompt payments. He indicated that the plan put in place is to ensure that anytime a contractor raises a certificate, within 30 days, that contractor will get paid.
But finding the money will be a big problem.
No.
And you made reference to the oil revenue. Yes. The finance minister says there was a significant shortfall below the target. So we set a target of 12.4 billion. We had a 52.2% shortfall just for the oil revenues. That's a problem.
But you see,
because that is the more or less like the main tool to fund this particular road project.
But that is also the assurance that we have this money available for the road sector and for these projects to be done. He also talked about floating infrastructure bonds, remember?
Yes.
Later, in 2026. And all of these will go to supporting this, massive infrastructure agenda that is captured under the big push. But you see, you have to appreciate the vision. You have to appreciate the vision. I mean, money is important, but it's not always everything. You don't need to have it before you begin, progress, or you begin to initiate something that is progressive. You don't always need to have it sitting in your accounts. You need to have the buffers. And clearly, our economy over the period has demonstrated that we have the buffers. So we need to visualize what His Excellency President Mahama is trying to do to us. I mean, if you live in the Upper East region, for example, just imagine how it will become easy and how it will improve trade, farming, and movement if you have a road that connects Wa to Navrongo. If you live in the Upper East or the Upper West, just picture that.
Okay.
Where you used to take about 5 to 6 hours to cross between Wa to Navrongo, a road is to be done to make it easy for you, and in this case, shorter, because you now do like 4 hours. I mean, just picture the time that you will save. Now, look at the Eastern Corridor, and you take it from Wenchi all the way to Wa. And remember, the border around Axim and others are also there. That's why I talk about the utility of these roads, not only for internal purposes, but also for external purposes. So from Wenchi to Wa, I mean, where you have a good road that will enable even the Sahelian countries to transport goods easily from our ports and to our ports. Can you imagine how much revenue that will, create for this country and the businesses that will spring up along these roads? Because you know that everywhere a road passes, the economy improves. Even if it passes in front of your house, you are most likely to turn some of the fronts into stores. I mean, so everywhere a road passes, the economy improves. So the same with the Eastern Corridor.
So it's not going to be only big push, but small pushes as well.
Small. You see, okay, thank you for this. Even contractors get confused about this. The road ministry still has its capital expenditure budget, just like it used to have in the past. The big push project, if we were the MPP, would have called it a presidential special initiative sitting somewhere at the presidency.
Special intervention.
It's a special intervention, but still under the road ministry. Why? Because the president believes that the road ministry has the technical people to monitor and ensure that it is implemented the way he has envisioned it. And so those community roads that you have spoken about will be catered for. Yes, will be catered for under the already existing budgetary allocation to the ministry. In the past, these bigger projects were competing with the small community projects over the same funds that was available to the ministry. Today, it is different. That is why we are confident that we will do about 10,000 kilometers of feeder roads. We are confident that about 166 constituencies will benefit from 10 kilometers of roads this year. Yes, there's that discussion to see how we can partner DRIP to do all of that. Yes.
Okay, let's wrap up now. About 2 minutes, and Prof as well 2 minutes.
Give me only 2 minutes. Don't
worry. We don't want your roads to be fixed. I want my roads to be fixed.
The roads are very important because you see, we've been talking about the issue of economic restructuring. And one area I think we need to pay attention to is how to integrate the various sectors and or the units. Because, I mean, look at the production. Let's look at the production units of the economy. When they produce, what is it for? It's for consumption. So what do you do to the consumption units? And how does it get to the consumption unit? Through distribution units, right? Okay, so the point is that now the government has said they are going to focus on taking routes to productive areas of the economy, which is quite good. The government has also said that, okay, this time around, the schools are going to buy from the farmers locally, which is also good. So we need to be intentional about it, to integrate this so that because if I'm a producer, I know in economics you say goods are produced in anticipation of demand. So I'm not just producing for producing sake. I'm producing because somebody would have to buy it. So the government will have a role to play to make sure that what I produce, even if it's not the government who's going to buy, someone else in the private sector would buy. So let's look at the integration. How do we integrate the productive unit or the production unit to the the distribution unit, so that the cost of distribution, because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, whatever you are producing, you are competing with other producers from around the world. So if the cost of production itself, because it has come down because of the fact that now we are enjoying a very conducive macro economic environment, if you're able to produce low, but you're not able to distribute low, still you're going to have a higher price at the end of the day for the consumer, which is going to be a problem, which means the person will reject what is produced here and buy what is
cheaper options.
Yes, from what is being brought from China. So let's look at how. So I'm excited that specifically they are saying that they are now taking rules to areas of production. Not only that, let's look at our transport system. How do we reduce cost of distribution? If you have good roads and we don't have cost of distribution low, is going to affect the economy. So let's see how we can integrate all these things. And I think if you're able to do, it will help this economy a lot.
Prof.
Yeah, quick one. Academia should partner with industry so that we can have more entrepreneurs in our system. Very important. The big push you have, also the small pushes, because access roads to our homes and all these places that we've been talking about is also terrible. I've also seen that the service industry need to do well, especially customer services. It's something that we need to work on. It's not good. Construction is a big one. Construction jobs in the advanced world is a big one. Can you imagine that in America or Europe, sometimes about 40% of individuals are employed in the construction sector. If we are fixing all our roads and individuals are being employed in the construction sector, that is going to be great for us. I've seen the youth with good attitude of having shovels, trying to, patch some of these things, and they take 1 city, 2 cities and everything. I'd rather give my 1 city or 2 city to that person than somebody begging on the street doing nothing. So it's a good thing that we pay attention to the construction center and do that. Also, attitude needs to be fixed. If you talk about Togolese coming for the POP and individuals, and Ghanaians are doing Kanana and Bukata and inflating the prices for us, that is not good. I don't know why they always want to steal.
It's a serious issue. We're doing some construction. When they come, they are just based
us back to the point I made.
So attitude.
Yeah. Attitude.
Yes.
Go to school, work hard, get a job, enjoy. So when you get a job,
one day let's talk about this.
To be productive at all.
So Suhini, one day let's talk about this issue. But I think that the biggest issue here is that somebody is building your house for you. Before you know, they're also building another one. So they buy 100 bags of cement for you, and they also buy 50 for themselves. That kind of attitude is bad. Let's stop that. The other one I want to talk about is that the president is prioritizing in road and agriculture now. We need food, good food for ourselves. We have organic food. You can't have it anywhere. So let's pay more attention to the agri sector. I like the Nkukwo Nkete and all those things that we can buy locally produced chicken, not the akuko food from other places that we have in our refrigerators and eating them, and they are causing a lot of harm to us. The last thing I want to talk about is that technology is our friend, and let's use it to mobilize more revenue for ourselves. And let's process our good, because you can get a lot of benefits. I was looking at it, even salt, over 18 benefits from salt, that if we process them here. If you look at fuel, we can have gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, heating oil, liquefied petroleum gas. Then we can have plastic bags, waxes, petrochemicals, naphtha, bitumen, petroleum coke, which is used in the steel industry. So let's begin to process all these things, and we can have a lot of jobs. No Ghanaian need to travel abroad to look for jobs. We can create those jobs here for ourselves and be happy living together.
Let me wrap up with Doc on Zoom. Doc, final words, and if you can touch on the city for me as you wrap up as well. We all know how the city has been performing. Some of the critics have made the point that we'll see the true level of the city when we are getting towards the latter part of the year. But we are in the latter part, and things are still looking fine. What's your own assessment?
Do say it's not premise.
Hello, Doc.
Yes. So my assessment of what? The city?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, and going forward as we wrap up, we end the year, yes.
Oh, yeah. I think, whatever factors are accounting for the appreciation is good. I think when the conversation is about the BOG intervention, it is about excessiveness. BOG always intervenes to get rid of excessive volatility. And so if you have enough reserves to intervene, why not? But the conversation is that they should not intervene so much, excessively, not to deplete the reserves. And that is the point people have been making. But I think so far, so good. We are enjoying the exchange rate. It has brought import prices down. It has also brought imported inflation down. Is the reason we are seeing a downtrend in inflation. We all know the strong pass-through effect of exchange rate onto inflation. So wherever the cedi depreciates, we see high inflation, and there's an appreciation that we are seeing low inflation. I think we should, to sustain this, we need to restructure the economy as we have always mentioned, because that is the more sustainable way, building infrastructure, building manufacturing, building agriculture, so building the base, and also the new wave of economics. And this one, I'll credit Professor Paul Alaligidede, talking about the metanomics. In other words, taking advantage of your minerals to leverage them for economic transformation, beginning with your currencies. And so we must build more good reserves, as I've indicated. If you build good reserves like 120, 125, like Mexico and Kazakhstan, our peers, I think our city will be more strengthened like this. So let's continue to work together. So far, so good, so that we can transform the economy to create a jobs. By the way, I have read the 24-hour economy program, and it is not the one job, 3 shifts, 3 persons. They are saying that it is a destination. Now, the process of getting to that destination of a shift system is through economic transformation. And most of the money will not be coming from the government. It will be coming from the private sector. And I think it's a good thing that we must commend the government and support them to achieve. So that at the end of the day, we are all Ghanaians. If things go well, we go to the market and buy a lower price of items. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Doc, you wanted to make a point, yes?
You see, when we talk about economy, the economy, we normally forget to mention corruption.
Yeah, in fact, that was the point I was going to make about this CD, the exchange rate.
Yeah.
The finance minister, disclosed something that is very troubling and disturbing. The amount of money. No, yes, and then the illicit transfers outside this country.
Yeah.
I mean, over $80 billion leaving this economy. I mean, can you imagine how that would have impacted the city in the past?
Corruption eats away from the economy. Yeah. It is important. Anytime you discuss the issue of economy,
eat away. It's a thief in everybody's pocket.
But we were talking about football clubs.
Yes.
Let me talk about the best secondary school in Ghana.
Okay.
We are having our 65th anniversary next week,
Which secondary
Saturday.
School is that?
It is a secondary school that has the president of the Republic of Ghana.
Oh, okay.
The first lady of the Republic of Ghana, the majority leader.
That's where they met.
The majority leader in Ghana's parliament, and has the highest number of MPs in parliament today. I'm talking about Ghana Secondary School in Tamale. We are having our 65th anniversary.
School, right?
Yes, I mean, we are
Do you know we also have Ghana Secondary School in Koforidua that I went?
Those are the Nkrumah
Yes,
schools.
next week we are also having our 82nd anniversary.
The first one was in Cape Coast.
Was Ghana National College.
Ghana National
Why are
College.
you talking about your school?
That is all time would allow us this
So
morning.
Ghana, speak and shine. Next week, let's all go to Ghana's Koforidua and then have fun.
Those are Nkrumah schools. All those schools are Nkrumah schools. So my guests have been Suhini Saibu Alasan, Deputy Minister of Roads and Highways and MP for Tamale North. Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie joined us on Zoom, an economist at the University of Ghana. Professor Enoch Opoku-Entry is a governance and policy analyst joining us in the studio. Ebo Bakman, Deputy Communications Director and also a financial analyst with the United Party as well. Happy birthday to senior Kwame Jantua, my senior by so many years. I received the message that you sent through the producer. In fact, the message you sent was to the entire crew. He said that the Friday crew, if they don't wish me happy birthday and I come next week, it will be butu. No butu. They are telling me to come with champagne as well. And yeah, we have to do that. So, Mr. Jantua Senior, that's the message to you. It's also the birthday of Godwin Asidiba. Godwin Asidiba is the reigning Ghana Journalists Association Journalist of the Year, our colleague here at TV3. He's also the BBC Komla Dumont Journalist of the Year as well. Fantastic gentleman, currently in the United Kingdom working with the BBC. Happy birthday to you. Do enjoy your day. And one way you can enjoy your day is to pick up your day the Milky Way with the rich, smooth taste of Peck Milk Shortcake. As I always say, it is pure delight, and we have it right here. You should try Peck. Godwin and Mr. Jantua, last week, you don't worry, next week we'll see what you can do. I don't make promises. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. But before then, if you want to look smart and fashionable, visit any Woodin boutique nationwide. Today, Woodin offers an amazing collection of authentic African fabrics and ready-to-wear that come in beautiful designs and colors for men and women. With Woodin, you can get creative and versatile with your designs. Be confident and show off how truly African you are in Woodin. Go to a Woodin boutique near you today and choose from a variety of trendy products to complement your unique style. Follow Woodin Fashion on Facebook, Instagram at Woodin Fashion, and TikTok at Woodin_fashion. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. And don't forget, we will be showing the Black Stars match at 10 a.m. The build-up starts at 9:30. The Kirin Cup, we are playing against Japan. The sports guys will join us with all of that. We'll be right back. Stay tuned in.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you banked like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, sign here.
And get a third night free with all meals inclusive, starting from 4,500 Ghana cedis for a couple. Package offer guests free welcome drinks, access to all in-house facilities, swimming pool, gym, cinema with popcorn, board games, snooker, etc. Live band, brass band, DJ performances, and many more. You also get to enjoy free airport pickup from Takoradi on weekends. Terms and conditions apply. Fun activities include tour of a beautiful facility with a golf cart, splash playground for kids, in-house Anchors Carnival, sips, paint, also bicycle rides, boat ride to Maha Village. Jet ski, banana boat, party bus ride, nightclub, bonfire night, variety night. There will be trips to Inzulezu for also Fort Apollonia and Casa Forest, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Home, etc. Early bird discounts, book and pay. Well, if you had actually booked before the 31st of October, you would have had 20% discount. But before the end of November, you get the chance of an extra 10% discount. Call Maha Beach Resort now on 030-3977-773 or 054-01-2-4114, and on WhatsApp is 050-157-0684. Email sm@maharesort.com. Social media, also Maha Beach Resort. Website www.maharesort.com. And very soon, we'll be showing you who our lucky winner is, who is getting 1,000 cedis out of the 10,000 Ghana cedis we're giving out today. Well, are you looking for a university that will prepare your child for the future? Then Academic City University is the best choice for you. At Academic City, we do not just teach, we nurture creators, innovators, and leaders who shape tomorrow's world. We offer undergraduate programs in engineering, computational sciences, business, and communication art, and our BSc in artificial intelligence and robotics engineering are the first and only one of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa. With world-class facilities and industry-experienced faculty, students do not just learn the latest technology, they actually create it. And for working professionals and young graduates, we have got you covered as well. With our MSc programs in cybersecurity and data science analytics, as well as our professional certificate programs. At Academic City, our programs are practical, relevant, and future-focused. Call us now on 026-269-3870 or visit acity.edu.gh for more information. Admissions are now open at Academic City. Make your mark. So let's find out which of you is getting 1,000 cedis home today to have a wonderful weekend. The numbers will be scrolling very shortly. Yes, congratulations to the one who owns 0598598 0598598 Congratulations, you've got 1,000 cedis for you. A good weekend is going to be. You're still here on Newday on TV3. Stay with us, we're back with more. Provide installation, ongoing maintenance, repairs, and even comprehensive solar insurance against theft, fire, flood, and more. Flexible payment plans are available. The services suit homes, farms, and businesses, helping customers cut electricity bills, gain energy independence, and of course, support the environment. Contact or call them now on 030-824-9900 or 050-502-3472. Check out their website on www.optimasolarsystems.com. Social media, Instagram and Facebook at Optima Solar GH. Want to help you celebrate your birthday today. So if you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. Let's see which of you is first on our list as we wish you a very happy birthday. Oh, of course, our very own Godwin Asediba, the man of the moment. Yes, BBC Komladimo Journalist of the Year and also the GJ Journalist of the Year, amongst many other awards that he has. Godwin Asediba, yes, broadcast journalist, you are an inspiration to many from all of us here at Media General, and we love you so much. Keep the fire burning. Oh, Mr. Kwame Jantua, may God bless you abundantly. Cheers to greatness from the Newday team, from all of us, from me, from all of us. Salama to Ibrahim of Cape Coast Nursing Training College. Allah bless you. Yes, Pastor Kofi Blankson, wow, we love you. Happy birthday. Prince William Prempe Jemfi of Holy Trinity, happy birthday. Dr. Erajua Nunu, happy birthday to you, ma'am. Kamel in Shiraba Kluche, happy birthday. David Sebastian Damwa, happy birthday. Jeremiah Elikem Dakwa, happy birthday to you. Joel Obing, happy birthday to you, sir. Alexander David Bosu, happy birthday. Mrs. Regina Ya Bwediwa, happy birthday, ma'am. Mr. Kwesi Lincoln, happy birthday. Mrs. Edna Na Moko Bruce Mensa, happy birthday, ma'am. Madam Julia, happy birthday. Bishop King David LC Abazeri, happy birthday to you, sir. Gloria Nikwe, happy birthday, ma'am. Hananate, happy birthday. Prophet Noble Isaac Apia, happy birthday to you, Prophet. Miss Princess Duncan, happy birthday. And that's it for our show today. Thank you so much for staying with us throughout the week here on Newday on TV3. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. But I did tell you that the Kirim Cup, we're having the live show, and it's just coming up immediately after this show. So, yes, Ghana is playing, and we're bringing you all the updates ahead of the match today. So do stay with us and do enjoy the rest of our programs. My name is Beatrice Edo. I was here with Joseph Akable from me and the rest of the team. Thank you so much for staying with us. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a great day.